The Let Me Be Frank podcast is proudly sponsored by Glenwood. Glenwood are the UK's leading construction industry debt recovery agency.
Remember, no win, no fee with Glenwood Debt Recovery.
Find out more at glenwoodconstruction.co.uk. And we're back with another episode of the Let Me Be Frank podcast with myself, Simon Houston, Frank McAvennie.
How you doing?
And we're Frank's having a wee wander down memory lane today because he's in the company via Zoom of a man who signed for West Ham on the very same day. We got Mark Ward with us. Mark, how you doing?
How are you, Wardy?
Good afternoon, lads.
How are you?
I'm good, mate. Bit tired. I've got an event tonight down here. So, like I said, the 75 and 1980 FA Cup winning team. So I'm a guest.
You're just going for a booze, then, are you?
I'm going, meeting all the lads round the corner after this, and I'm back up to Liverpool tomorrow and watching Everton play Fulham.
Is that the last home game?
No, they're away at Fulham, and then their last home game against Southampton. There's about 70 ex-players going, Frank. So, they've changed. Sky changed it till 12 o'clock kickoff. So it's an 8 o'clock start in the Titanic Hotel for a champagne breakfast. You'd love that, mate.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, I'd love that.
Now there might be one or two viewers from up the road who aren't as familiar with Mark Ward as like those down south are, but man of many clubs, fair to say. And going by your accent, it's no surprise that Everton's your kind of home club, Before West Ham, Man City.
Yeah, I was born an Evertonian, and obviously I signed with Frank on the same day. I left Oldham Athletic. He left St Mirren, I think it was. And, we were the only two players they signed that season. And John Lyall done his due diligence. And, that season couldn't have got any better. The guy in that studio was unbelievable. I think he scored 26, 28 goals, and him and Cossie, it was 50 odd between them. But, like Frank says, Kenny Dalglish said, we should have won it. We finished third, and it couldn't have got any better that season for me because I played in every game. Yeah,
I missed one. I was in Scotland duty. I went to Australia, and that's the only one I missed.
Aye.
It was that good. I didn't want to miss any games, So when I came back, I just went straight to the game, didn't I?
Exactly, Frank. Like I've always said, that team was that good. It's not if we were going to win, but how many we're going to win by later on in the season. And we just ran out of games, to be honest. But what a fantastic team to play in, and it's never happened since.
No, it never happened again. I don't think. But hopefully, but not in my time. I don't think. But it was good. And we only used about 15 players, which. Yeah, you think about now, and we had a backlog. We had to play Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday for I don't know how long.
4 games in 8 days.
Games in a week. So incredible.
And you were a winger, obviously, so you were delivering the ammunition for
it was
Frank and Tony Cottee. You get quite a few assists.
We had a great player on the left, Alan Devonshire. He was an incredible player, and so we had a great balance. I think that's what we were so good. We had a good back four. Wasn't the quickest, but. We all worked together. And when we got Tony to, come on board about defending from the front line, we just went on an 18-game unbeaten run because Frank would run round and challenge, and I'd look after the left back and Dev would look after the right back. But, it was an incredible team to play in. And like I said, the last third of the season, every home game, it was like, how many are we going to win by, really?
Yeah. And John Lyall, you've always said, Frank, that John Lyall was just different class to have as a manager, just the way he conducted himself and as a human being as well.
Oh, he was a great human being. He was like my dad, wasn't he, Wardy? But you don't cross him. You didn't want to cross him. He had a temper that he could come right down on top of you, which is good. But he understood everything. Myself and Wardy are away from home, and he was great to us, wasn't he? He was really good.
Yeah, he was, and obviously I had to room with you for a few months and that was an experience.
Yeah, let's cut to the chase. Rooming with Frank McAvennie, I shudder to think. How many were in the room at any given time?
Listen, it was some games. His favourite pastime was trying to get the bird he was serving as an evening meal back to the hotel room. So, and he did manage it sometimes, and. I remember one morning we were playing up north, and I looked across and he'd been trying to chat this waitress up, and she didn't want to know. And I fell asleep in the evening, and we'd had a 3-course meal. He was trying to order sandwiches to the room, think she'd bring them up. And I woke up on the Saturday morning. I turned round and I looked across at the single bed, and I thought, as I'm trying to focus in, I looked and I thought I could see 2 blonde heads. And when I focused in again, there were 2 blonde heads, but one of them had a pair of tits. And I said to Frank, I said to Frank, I'm getting up and going down for my breakfast. I said, you better get her out of the room, mate, before McAvennie comes up. That's John Lyall's lieutenant. So I put my trackies on and I turned round and said, I'm going down for my breakfast, get shut of here. And as I got to the door, he shouted, "Wee man." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm having my breakfast in bed."
And was he playing that day?
Yeah,
and
of course it was.
He scored 2. So,
of course it was.
This saying, right, how to approach games. And Frank, well, when you think, Frank, you scored a hat-trick that day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It was good. I scored a lot. Yeah.
And they must be thinking you made all that up.
No. No, it wasn't.
And then eventually he moved into his own room.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got my own room at the time.
Aye. So. I'm kind of not surprised to,
I think
to
John
learn that.
didn't want to make any other boys embarrassed. It was good fun though, wasn't it? It was good. Nothing interfered with my social life.
So you both signed on the same day.
Yeah.
Obviously, Frank moved back up to Celtic after a couple of years. What was your kind of timeline at West Ham then? You went after West Ham. Did you go back, or were you only there for one spell?
Well, it was sad, really, Sam, because we built a great side, and then John never got any money. People always say, "Well, why didn't you, kick on from then?" Well, it's a simple answer is that John never was given any money to enhance the squad. And we only had a small squad. Like Frank said, we only played 14, 15 players that season. And then other teams had sussed us out. So the team seemed to break up, and I ended up going to Man City with Howard Kendall. Howard had just took over at City, and he said he needed a team full of Scousers to keep them up because they were 9 points adrift at the bottom of the league. So he got the Scousers in, and the Scousers kept them up.
There you go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It doesn't go down very well in Manchester.
You can't see that down there, no. But you'll be pleased to know this, because this is really big in Manchester.
Oh yeah, well, listen, I said the same things in outside, and it's used to have big stages outside. You don't do them anymore. City Square, 20 minutes before the kickoff.
Oh, brilliant.
And they asked me the question, and I said it. Peter Reid said to me, "You've got to be careful, they don't like us." Anyway, I told the truth, and the abuse I got was unbelievable.
That really bothered you can tell, can you?
Well,
Tell me this.
me, Frank.
What was it about Scousers that could keep them up?
Well, Howard couldn't. It was just after Christmas. They were 9 points adrift. They had some great young players. They were getting stuffed 6-0, and I think they got beaten 8. So he got Peter Reid in as his general, and he put a sweeper in Alan Harper. So he stopped the goals going in, really, because they had the nucleus of a good young side, but he got Adrian Heath, all ex-Everton players. Not all of them were Scousers, but the influx of Everton players, because he couldn't gamble in the market. He needed players to come in and do the job that could be done there and then. He couldn't gamble at all, so we knew all the players that were coming in, and he just stopped the goals going in, and then we started picking up wins, and it was a great job. When you think, although he's the most successful manager in Everton's history, he done a fabulous job there.
At Man City.
At Man City, yeah.
I mean, that's what John Lyall says that about the jocks down in West Ham as well, because they'd Neil Orr, he'd Ray Stewart, he had a few people before us. Sandy Clark was down there as well for a bit.
Yeah.
So it's Scousers, and cause Big Alvin as well. Scousers.
Well, you don't
Scots.
get better than him as a captain.
No.
I'll see him tonight, but I wasn't there long. I was only there 18 months, and Howard took back over to Everton, and I was absolutely devastated because I signed for Kendall, really, more than Man City, because obviously Evertonian, what he won in the 80s, and he'd had that spell in Spain, and I was going to go to Spain with John Toshak at Real Sociedad, and his first words to me were, "Don't go to Spain, Mark, it's shit, I've just come back." He was quite a straight-talking guy like myself, so my dream was to play for Everton and to go back there Howard took me back there was an amazing thing for me.
You played there, Rod, sorry. You played there with a ex-friend of mine, a friend of mine, and it was a wee comparison there.
But you know what it is with me? My mates were McAvennie, Morris Johnson, and I become really good friends with Big Duncan. I know he played for Rangers and all that, but
yeah, good boy.
You know, he come to visit me in the Nick and all that, but you know, it was something with me and the Scottish contingent, and
I think it's a sense of humour.
Morris, I've got some stories about Morris as well.
Well, look, you know, we're no shy about asking folk to share their stories on this podcast.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Morris is good.
Morris's problem was he loved the bevy, he loved the bird, and he could pull a bird like yourself, Frank. But I always ended up being with him in Liverpool city centre, and after a few bevies, we all changed, don't we? But Morris thought he was the hardest man in the world.
I know.
And then he'd start threatening some of my mates who were proper villains as well. And he'd say, "Oh, my mates are going to come down," and he'd literally say, he'd do that thing, you know. And he'd put me to one side. He'd say, "See him, you better get him out of here now, because he's." And I'd go, "Oh, come on, Morris, we're going." Then he'd start picking on me. We had loads of scraps when we were bevied, especially abroad pre-season. And I remember once he turned on me, and I'd give him a dig, and he hit his face on the wooden bed and split his face wide open. Playing brushing once you got back the next day. So I just bolted out the room because there was claret everywhere. And I ended up going to the bar, and I would love the pint. He was at the bar with all the staff. Anyway, I've shot past him, should be in the bed. Next minute, he runs in and his underpants fucking blood everywhere. And he went, "What are you doing?" He said, "What's happened to you? Is that a little present off the little fella?" He was mad. Good player. But,
he's a good lad. I mean, a lot of Glasgow would like to do what you done to him.
But you always forget that he played for Everton, Morris Johnson.
Yeah, he played down there.
Yeah. He was shit when he come to Everton, I'll be honest with you. Because I said to him, I said, "Morris, you were a great player till you come here. What's wrong with you?" So, it just didn't work for him there. Like,
I'm a hard act to follow, Wardy.
You are, mate. Yeah.
But when it comes,
your boots.
When it comes to Scottish hard men, Duncan Ferguson, who you may have seen on YouTube a fair amount over the last week or two, with his book coming out. But Big Duncan must have been something else to play alongside.
Well, Sam and I never played them at Everton. I'd left by then. Mike Walker took over, the great Everton manager, Mike Walker. Fucking hell. The only thing we had in common was our initials, MW. He was the worst manager, even worse than Lou McCarthy.
No.
I'm a great believer if I don't get on with the managers, I get off. And I still had the year left, and Big Joe took over, Joe Royal, and he won the FA Cup that season. But I'd gone on to other things, signed for Birmingham as the player coach. But, consequently, I'm out in Liverpool city centre, and I bump into Duncan one night, never met him before. And it was after Dock races, the local racetrack, and Ian Rush was in the bar and was taking him on, asking him how many goals he's going to score. And Big Dunk was a gentleman. He said, "If I score half as many as you, Ian." And one thing led to another. There was a few birds around, and Duncan was sat next to me. First time I met him, and this bird just piped up, "Listen, Duncan, as long as you're better than Morris Johnson," because he was a pisshead. And I just stuck up for me mate because he wasn't there, Morris. And I went, "Listen, love, don't speak about my mate like that." She went, "Who the fuck are you?" I've Scouse birds too. And all Ruffy and his mates were laughing their heads off, and I thought, I'm only small, but I felt even smaller.
Time for a shout out to our sponsors, Glenwood. We always like to thank them for everything they do for us here at Let Me Be Frank. And I think we said in the last episode, look at this setup.
It's brilliant.
It's really great, isn't it?
Yeah, can't thank you enough.
The boys up next studios do a wonderful job, and the reason we can, do this, a big part of that is because Glenwood support us, and they've been absolutely brilliant. So we're very lucky that we have the team behind us. And Glenwood is an important company because it provides hugely important assistance to businesses who need it. They are debt recovery within the construction industry. So if you're in the construction game and you're doing work for somebody and you're not getting paid, they're the people who will help you get the money you're rightfully owed.
As I've always said, you do the work, you deserve to get paid. So Glenwood will get it for you.
Yep, that's it. They will help you get the money that's rightfully yours. And if you want to learn more about them, their web address is glenwoodconstruction.co.uk, and it's business to business debt recovery within the construction industry. So if that's something that you could use, get in touch with them. And when you do get in touch,
don't forget to tell them that Frank sent you.
Obviously, you made no secret about you getting into trouble in the past. You were in football's naughty step. You weren't alone. A lot of them, a lot of footballers. In fact, there's somebody not too close from me here as well. Yeah. But that's interesting. You said that Duncan Ferguson, who'd obviously spent time in prison in Glasgow, was that help to you when he went in and visited you? And was he?
Well, to be honest, Simon, I went to the Liverpool prison and I was there 18 months, and then obviously got moved to Rochdale, and then the governor come to my cell. He said, "You've got some special guests tomorrow, Mark." And I'd had loads of letters of certain players and things like that. I'd never had any bad mail, actually. And I started to write a book because the publishers all wrote to me, and it gave me something to do. But when the governor said, because I had so much respect for Howard Kendall, he signed me twice, got me back to Everton. So he said, "Mr. Howard Kendall and Mr. Duncan Ferguson are coming tomorrow." He said, "So, there's no privacy. You'll be in the visits and all that, like so." And I was a bag of nerves because obviously Howard was a great man in my, football career. So anyway, as I walked into the visits room, Duncan sat there with Howard, and I'm just waiting for Howard to say something. And I'll never forget his words. He said, "Mark, I'm here for you now, and I'm here for you when you get out." He said, "I don't want to know who, when, where or why." He said, "Nothing's changed between me and you, son. I know what you are as a man. Right, would you like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee?" And he left me with the big fella then, and he was telling me about his little bit that he had in Barton and what jobs I'd got in the prison and things like that. But it did not help me as a person, because when you go to prison, you're rock bottom. But when the likes of them two come in, giants at the game as far as I'm concerned, it was just great,
Yeah. Well, the two of us have been in Her Majesty's service, and none of us are James Bond, if you know what I mean. But you had a way of passing the time. You had a certain way of passing the time, and you come up with this idea to pick the lags. Is it Lags 11 you were calling it?
No, what it was, Frank, I was writing this book because they all wrote to me, the publicist, and I thought, there's so much to do. And my cellmate in Liverpool was a lad that was already in the neck, Paul McGrath, not the Paul McGrath,
right, okay.
He was a Scouser. But Liverpool supporters all wrote. I wrote a chapter called "Shooting the Pope" because I shot Barry Horn, the Everton midfielder, with a gun at a Christmas party, but I didn't realise it was a proper gun because I took it off a cowboy who was Dave Watson's next door neighbour. But the stupid twat took a fucking real gun to the fancy dress, and I was dressed as Dennis the Menace. So anyway, long story. I ended up doing the book, and the week I got out, Jim White from the Telegraph wanted to do a big piece on me in the Telegraph. So got the train to Euston, sat with him for 2 hours, and he said to me, "Mark, I picked me best ever footballers, prison 11. He said, "Over the last 40 years, I picked it from the goalkeeper right the way through the best players that played in that position." So he said, can I put it in the supplements in the Telegraph?" I said, "I'm in the team." He said, "You fucking arsehole." He said, "And what a team this is. I'll name the team for you.
Okay.
Terry Fenwick at right back, England, QPR, Tottenham. 2 centre-halves, Tony Adams and Peter Storey. 2 Arsenal centre-halves. Gary Charles, little Forest left-back, played for West Ham as well. And a midfield 4, a Fat Jan Molby in the middle with Joey Barton. Mickey Thomas on the left, Man United, Wales, international. Mickey Thomas on the left. Me on the right. And a front 2 of Duncan Ferguson and Georgie Best.
Wow.
Not bad, is it?
I must have made the bench then, eh?
But Frank McAvennie's not in that team.
Well, I never picked the team, you see. But Frank never went to prison. He never actually went to prison. He was in the cells, wasn't he?
I was on remand.
He was on remand, and then he was.
Well, he was on remand, but he wasn't sentenced. So he'd done his own work. This guy and the goalkeeper. Remember the goalkeeper?
Yeah,
Rennie Aguita, who'd done the scorpion kick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was the keeper. He picked him as the keeper.
Yeah, he was behind bars as well. Where's
he from though? Where was he from?
Colombia.
Colombia.
Aye.
Would have got on fucking well with them, wouldn't we?
Frank, were you not going to be the Colombian national manager at
I
one point?
was at one point, yeah. I couldn't get in.
Well, people say, listen, I do events and all, they go, what about McAvennie? What about Mickey Quinn? What about all these players? And I'll be honest with you, Simon just mentioned it before. When I come out, there's 144 ex-footballers in prison. So,
There's a couple of household names. I don't want to name them in case I get them wrong, but there's like a Brazilian legend. I think it might have been tax evasion or something as well. There's some...
Ronaldinho, is he?
Yeah.
You said it, Frank.
That's all right.
So when we get shut down, it'll be you, but going to jail.
No, he's in there because he came out and says it.
No,
He
it
says
was
that
that, yeah. It was Ronaldinho.
Messi bought all his jerseys just to get him money and all that because he wouldn't take money.
But
So,
again, he might not have been sentenced, so he might have been kind of, spending a bit of time.
What you should do next time you get put in prison, pick a Remand team.
By the way, how's that for a charity match? The Remand team against the sentenced team.
Yeah. But listen, when I was in the Rochdale prison, right, they have a football team because it's an open prison. And HMP Kirkham, they won the league every year. You know why? Because they play every game at home. And you have to be a scouser to be in the team.
Is that right?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So you played.
Why? Because the prison is full of scousers.
Brilliant.
I'm not going to pass comment on that. You played in Scotland. I just realised you played for Ayr and Dundee.
Played 2 games, yeah. And you know what? The Dundee game, I nearly lost my arm. Ridiculous. I just finished playing at Wigan, and I remember the big centre half stood on my hand and I broke a bone on the outside of my hand. So they put 2 cables in there to to get it tightened up. So they protruded out the side of my hand. So what I did, they asked me to go up to play in this game. So I got a pair of pliers and cut the wires off so you couldn't see them.
Oh, no.
And what it was. Remember Tommy McQueen?
I remember Tommy, yeah.
He was the manager. He was the captain of the team. So I put my hand out to shake his hand. I had a bandage on it, and he squoze my hand, and he shit himself because the 2 prongs went into his skin. He went, "Fucking hell, man, what's that?" I said, "Oh, don't." I've just tell him I've sprained me wrist. Anyway, he's pushed the wires in. I trained that day, and the next day my hand was like raging. There was an infection going up me right past my elbow. Played the game, drove home to Liverpool with my hand out the window. It was red hot. It's a good job I went to hospital because I had blood poisoning in the hand.
Oh, no.
And it went right up my arm. So for a couple of grand, I nearly lost me. Well, could have been dead if it had gone past my shoulder.
And was that a competitive match for Dundee?
It was, yeah. It was. I think we drew the game 0-0, and it was just because I was in agony. I just didn't play. And the other one was for Ayr United.
That's right, aye.
Willie Mackay got me there. Willie?
I remember Willie, yeah.
Yeah,
he's still working, I think. I think he's still doing things.
Frank bumped into him a couple of weeks ago in London. I was coming into this hotel and he was coming down, and sadly he's had a stroke, hasn't he? So
I've not seen him, is he?
Yeah, he had a pint with me. He's speaking about, So, but he was going to the races with Harry Redknapp, say no more.
Oh, do you remember when he bought a horse? He was doing all the thing at West Ham, and they thought they were conning. He was just bringing players in and selling them again. And he bought a horse and he named it When Willie Met Harry. Not a con or nothing, but.
I need to ask you about a guy from the same part of Liverpool as you. Joey Barton. In fact, you mentioned them earlier on.
Yeah.
Do you speak to him much? You in touch with him a lot?
I know his dad and I know his family. I've never met Joey, but he's quite influential now on this social media. He speaks his mind. He's from the same part of Liverpool. I always say that what a midfield this is. Peter Reid, Steven Gerrard, Joey Barton, Mark Ward, but all from a place called Huyton.
Right?
Huyton is a sleepy little village in Liverpool.
I can imagine.
And it's that rough. The dogs hang around in shoes.
2-year waiting list to vandal the phone box.
yeah. But yeah, Joey, listen, he was a good player, Joey, hard as nails. And but I think, sometimes in life, there's certain things you can say and certain things you can't.
I met him a few times. He was all right, a good lad.
Yeah. Listen, you don't mess around with him. No. And I remember his dad coming to see me, I was working out in the last year in the prison, and I was working on the building site in Liverpool, and he pulled up in a car. A couple of his mates said, "Matt, I'd always been arrested. Can you get him to your prison?" I said, "Do you think I am Pablo Escobar?" You know what I mean? It's not to do with me.
And you mentioned Steven Gerrard as well, big name in Scotland as well. In fact, there's some suggestion that he could potentially come back to Rangers if the whole 49ers deal goes through. Are you speak to Steven much?
I know his family as well. Stephen, I've seen him a few times and that, but I think he's done a good job in Scotland, and going abroad, especially to Dubai and places like that. To me, it's a lot of players. It wasn't around when we were there. When we were there at the end of our career, Frank, because we'd have been straight over there. The money's
still been there. Yeah,
keeping money, mate.
I know the money's incredible. I get told he can't go because he can't come back here at the moment because of tax reasons. He'd need to pay tax on all the money. So I've been told, that's what I've been told, because they were asking and inquiring about it. But I've heard that he can't do it. Whether it's true or not, somebody out there knows a lot more than me will be able to tell me that one.
But that is Highton was a part of Liverpool, you said, aye?
Highton, yeah, Huyton, two dogs fighting Highton.
And it was, so that midfield was yourself, Joey Barton, Steven Gerrard. Who was the fourth?
Peter Reid.
Wow.
Reid, good player.
Wasn't he a bad player, was he?
Yeah, good player. I've done an event with him in London recently in the Gaucho, and he finished fourth. They have that Ballon d'Or now, but they used to have it years ago. It was the world's best player. He finished fourth to I forget who it was, Platini, somebody else, and Reid was voted fourth best player in the world.
I'm going to guess that would that have been '84 when Everton won the Cup Winners' Cup, possibly.
Exactly, yeah.
And Celtic should have played them in the final that year, but that was the year of the Rapid Vienna debacle, remember?
All right, okay.
And they had to...
Everton had a good side that in the 80s, When I think, Frank, that West Ham side, we pushed Liverpool to the last game of the season. And when you think, that was the great Liverpool side, Dalglish, Rush, Hansen, Souness, Lawrence, and it was an unbelievable team, and... for that West Ham team to go all the way to the last game, and if they hadn't beat Chelsea, it'd been Everton and West Ham.
Last couple of minutes, wasn't it? Last couple of minutes.
Mate,
but anyway, I mean, that's a good club that you mentioned. That's still going, the Gaucho Club. That's still going.
No, it's the Gaucho.
The Gaucho. I thought she was the Gaucho. The Gaucho.
No, the Gaucho. Yeah,
that was brilliant.
Gaucho. No, I think that's shut down now.
Is it? Yeah, I might have shut it down myself. I think I might have.
Listen,
last time I was in there, I might have shut it down.
Listen, I went to Stringfellows a few months ago. Yeah, with one of the lads from was at a West Ham game. We went for the bevies. He said, "I'm going to Stringfellows." Anyway, I'm outside, and there's the oldest bouncer I've ever seen. I swear to God, he must have been 70 odd. So he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, "Wardy, it's Peter." He said, "I used to look after you and Frank all them years ago." He said, "I'm from Romford. I know your mate Mick Tobin." Anyway, so I started speaking to him, and he's still working. He's 72 years of age.
I didn't know it was still open, Peter, since Peter died.
Yeah, still there, mate.
And the big guy's still there. Brilliant.
Yeah, he's not big anymore. He's very old, but he's just there. He's just there. He's not there to do any bouncing. I don't know what he's there for, but he's remembered me.
Is it still as good?
Say no more.
Here, listen, we can't finish up without talking about your mutual friend, your favourite manager, both of you, Lou Macari.
Lou Macari, yeah.
Little prick.
That's the same thing I say about him, but I get told off for that. But he was hot. Tell me, what was the time he told you weren't playing at 10 to 2?
10 to 3.
10 to 3, no, 10 to 2 he told him. He told him at 10 to 2 he wasn't playing. And he says, "Now, I want you to do me a favour and go and put a line on, go and put a bet on."
Bet on, yeah.
2:15. He says, "I can't go across to the bookies." And I asked him, he told him he wasn't playing. That was the one Dev took it, didn't it? But Dev took a bet.
Dev, it was 400 quid. He got me in the boot room about 10 minutes before the kick-off, and I wasn't speaking to him. We all knew he loved the bet, but he didn't like a bevy. And my half always used to say to me, "Never trust anyone who doesn't drink." And he's fucking right about it. Anyway, so he gave me this big wad of money, and I couldn't go outside because it was just before the kick-off. There was no betting apps and all that. So Alan Devonshire was our bookie. Honest Dev. If your horse was 4 to 1, he'd give you 5 to 1. So I said, "Dev," he said, "I'll lay that." And
I don't fancy it, didn't I? Yeah.
No, so what we done, all the lads knew that Macari
If
had put
it
a
won,
bet on.
yeah.
But with Dev and we got it out there. It was 10:3 and Alan went out to listen to the race and he come back and it was like that. Fucking hell, it got stuffed the horse. Like, and I think it was George Paris taking a throw in. And I went, George, I went, like that's
I know.
horse. Next minute, all the team knew that.
We're all waving. We're all waving. The fans must have been saying, what's the matter with them? We're all going, yeah. Because we were going out that night, if you remember. I was straight in the kitty. The money went straight in the kitty. Dev, brilliant.
So who's your team, Mark? Have obviously Everton probably, is that the result you look out for first?
Yeah, listen, West Ham are a big, like Frank, he's Celtic, but West Ham have always been like, especially after getting into trouble and coming out of prison, like Frank as well and all the players, they've never shunned me away. And, we all make mistakes, but West Ham, Everton, Man City, even Birmingham, they've all, invited me back. But Everton, I was born an Evertonian, and it upsets me sometimes that when you're down here and you do a lot of work for West Ham, they go, why aren't you West Ham? I said, because I was born an Evertonian.
Yeah.
I said, I don't change my allegiance because I play for the club. I said, that's in my blood, and it always will be. And, I know they haven't had some great years, but hopefully Moyes will turn it round for next season.
No Moyes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he done well at West Ham, but he's...
I
think he was the right man for the job, wasn't he?
He was ideal, mate, because he knew the club, and at the end of the day, whether they hadn't made that change, because the results on the dice were becoming poor and poor, and he seems to have got them playing anyway. So the main thing was to keep up to get them into this new stadium next season.
He came up to Glasgow and we all went out, all the ex-players and all that went out, and he told me, we're walking across to another pub, me and Dave Moisey, and he told me that he might be going to Everton. And he wasn't even in the bet, and he wasn't in the running. And I thought, and I didn't take it in. And I thought, he was basically saying, go and put a bet on it. And I didn't.
Thanks for passing that on.
Well, I didn't. I thought it was just drink talking.
So tell me this: all Evertonians must be really excited about next season. Then in the new stadium and the lift it might give the club.
Yeah, it's like this. Me and Frank, remember Frank, we went to the last ever game in Upton Park.
Yes.
And,
yes.
We were pissed. And it was a night game. Can you believe that? It was a night game against Man United. And I swear to God, no one could get near the stadium. I think the team bus had to stop a mile away from the ground and walk to the stadium. Now, that was because it was an evening game. But what a game. West Ham beats Man United. An unforgettable game. But when you're losing these iconic stadiums like Goodison and Upton Park, it is a shame. But times, the one that Everton have built down on the river, it is a fantastic stadium.
It's a football stadium. West Ham's not a football stadium.
No, it's not, mate. You're too far away.
Yeah.
Like you say, when you go to that London stadium, you're about 80 metres away from the touchline.
I know.
It's ridiculous, but that's just the way it is. But Everton Stadium, they've looked at all the stadiums in Europe, and I believe it's like that. It's horizontal. You know what I mean?
The atmosphere will be good.
Final question: have you ever been up to Glasgow for?
Hang on, did I say horizontal? So it's vertical. Is that vertical?
It's working perfectly. You're looking exactly as you meant to look.
I was just going to lie down.
We're all on the ceiling at the moment. So you ever been up to Glasgow for a Celtic Rangers game?
I have, yes. Once Stuart Slater was playing for Celtic at the time, and a mate of mine, Gerald Keane, the barrister, he flew. I broke my ankle at Everton, and he looked after me and flew to Dublin, had a night out in Dublin, and then he flew us to the game. And I've never seen anyone. He was Celtic supporter, and he was in all the pubs, and I just couldn't believe that. Everton and Liverpool derbies are like, really physical on the pitch and all that, but I've never seen anything like that as an old firm.
I think
derby.
I know Gerald Keane. He's barrister. He's got a big limousine and all that. Yeah,
there's all the bands. Your mate, Simple Minds and all that.
That's right.
It's after them.
That's right.
But he never spoke. Celtic got beat that day, and he never spoke all the way home. Yeah. And then he wouldn't even go out that night. Yeah. And his missus went, just leave him alone, let him sulk. And I thought, he took it really hard.
Do you know what? I remember the game you're talking about because Stuart Slater played really well that game, if I'm not mistaken, but Rangers won 1-0. But Slater did everything apart from score. What's on tonight? Did you say you've got an event on?
With West Ham,
Yeah, obviously it's a West Ham event, 75 and 80 cup winning team. So he's got a lad that we know. He's got all the players there. So I'm just a guest, and then I'll be back up the road tomorrow to do a little event, watching Everton Fulham in a booze by Goodison, and with a couple of players there. Yeah,
Brilliant.
Actually, do you know what? This is a bit cruel, right? But I'm an anorak when it comes to FA Cup final results, going back to the 70s and stuff. So West Ham beat Fulham in 1975.
Fulham were a second division side, I'm waiting.
And the 1980, Trevor Brooken.
They beat Arsenal.
Arsenal.
They beat Arsenal.
Yeah, and West Ham were the second division side then.
Yeah. So, Frank, you're a West Ham legend. Who scored for West Ham against Fulham in 1975?
Is it Boy Taylor? Was it Taylor?
Yes.
Alan Taylor, well done.
Yeah, there you go.
Frank, his shirt went for 24 grand the other day.
He what? No.
One of his shirts went for 24 grand.
No.
He did.
Could be Alan, be Alan.
What's yours worth? What's yours worth?
Somebody's got it, I don't know.
No, I haven't even got a pair of socks left.
Yeah, you're right, mate.
Well,
listen, Paul, thank you.
And if you're up, find yourself up in Glasgow, we get in the
give
studio.
us a shout.
We'll do it.
Maybe get you up for the next Celtic Rangers game at Celtic Park.
Frank nearly said Old Firm there, and they
I
realised he was going to get into trouble.
But listen, that's what it is. Glasgow Derby.
Listen, not a problem.
All right, Paul.
Absolute pleasure.
Say hello to everyone
I'm
tonight.
Go and get pissed now.
Yeah, say hello to everyone tonight. Ian
I will
and
do,
all the
Frank.
boys. All right.
No problem.
All right, Paul.
Enjoy
Cheers,
yourself. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, man. Cheers, Lordy.
Take care.
All the best.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
And just a reminder to everyone to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, it's on the screen now, and follow us on social media.
Yeah.
And we will see you again for another episode.
It's all free.
Let Me Be Frank.
Thank you.
Cheers.